Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs, so let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, rock stars, I have a lot of stuff to talk about. I did not put it in any particular order, so I'm just going to read it from my notes in the order that I have them taken. So it's going to be a little bit all over the place, you guys. You'll just have to excuse me. I just want to get this done. First story up, you guys, Dame Dash on the Breakfast Club. Listen, I don't know what the situation is with Dame, but what I do know is that he needs to stop embarrassing himself on these interviews. It feels like Dame truly needs help. That he continues to go on these interviews and he continues to kind of do these controlled rants. And it's starting to like be a little alarming for me. Like I feel like Dame is in some sort of denial, and he would do best to just, he honestly would do best to just get off of social media, get off of these interviews and the internet and stop embarrassing himself. So the latest thing that we're talking about now is, now you guys know that we found out recently that Cameron, the rapper, shout out to Cameron too for taking up for his co-host on his podcast that he has with Mace. I don't watch that show. I only watch it whenever we see the clips that come up on Instagram. So I don't know much about that show. I didn't even know that there was a woman on the show. I don't know what segments she might be responsible for or something on the show. But the fact that that AB guy got on there and was just literally assaulting her on the air, like talking about her, you know, it was clear she was uncomfortable. Like Cam said, her boyfriend was there. He didn't seem to care, you know, and I just love the fact that Cameron did that, you know. Like, we already told you, you cannot do that here. And we're not going to waste your time. I'm going to pay you, but you got to go. That was like a stand-up thing to do for that girl because she clearly was not going to say anything, and he was just going to continue on. It could have turned into something else with her boyfriend being there and everything, you know. So, anyway, getting back to the topic, though. So Cam had the rights to Paid in Full, from what I understand. I hope that is the name because I did not put this part in my notes. I'm just going off of my memory. But anyway, Cam had the rights to, I want to say, Paid in Full, and he ended up selling the rights to 50 Cent. I guess 50 Cent wants to produce the movie or produce a show or whatever, and I guess at one time that those rights were over at where Dame Dash was, okay? And that all fell apart. We know that Dame Dash is not the head of nothing. He's not the CEO or the boss of anything any longer. So that fell through, and apparently Cam went over to 50 Cent, and now they're going to be working together. I'm assuming that Dame Dash has problems with 50 Cent like many of the label heads have. You know, 50 Cent has kind of assigned himself as the resident asshole of the CEOs of these labels, and you know, people just have to deal with his, you know, the way that 50 Cent can be. So Dame Dash has issue with the fact that Cam sold to 50 Cent, and he calls him like a sellout, you know. That's the latest thing. Of course, Cameron, he's responded to Dame Dash in his joking ways. Excuse me. But for the most part, you know, everybody is just, I just cannot for the life of me understand why Dame Dash continues to get on these interviews. So the latest interview that we're talking about is The Breakfast Club. You know, he was there with Charlamagne and Just Hilarious and DJ Envy and the young girl, the new girl that's there. You know, no disrespect, I cannot remember her name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Lauren. This Lauren, I believe. So anyway, he was on the show, and he clearly has issue with Charlamagne. I mean, many of us don't like Charlamagne. He might not be my favorite person, but Dame Dash was just really going out of his way to try to make a moment out of everything, trying to put Charlemagne in his place, going on and on, telling him that he was gay and that he was effeminate and, you know, that he was the boss. I mean, he was now the head of Revolt TV. And it was just sort of like, you are getting on here and making a claim like this, that you are the head of Revolt TV. Revolt ain't made no kind of announcements. You know, if you was going to be doing something like that, I would imagine that Revolt would have made that very clear to everybody. But somehow in Dame Dash's mind, in his mind, he got the job and he is now over Revolt TV. And everybody there knew that that was not the case. And they just continued to laugh at him. And I was like getting secondhand embarrassment, because I was like, why is it that Dame Dash just like refuses to read the room? Any room that he's in, he just refuses. He's in his own reality. Okay. Now I know he was talking about, you know, how people have dental problems and all of that and his teeth falling out and all. And that's true. People do have dental problems, and they can have a whole bunch of money or no money. But, you know, people do have dental problems and all that. But for him to always make it seem like he just really got it going on like this, but your teeth are falling out. When you are doing financially well, yes, you would probably spend a lot on your mouth, but you would take care of your teeth. I mean, to the point where they're falling out. You ain't trying to let your teeth just be falling out and stuff, you know. So him still working on this bridge situation, these dentures or whatever, and him keep saying that they got to get his mouth. Like, I'm just like, okay, real rock star orthodontist. I don't even know if that would be considered orthodontal work. That's maybe just still a dentist. Real rock star dentist out there. How long does it take for a man to get his whole mouth done? You know, if he's had his teeth falling out, maybe he has periodontal disease and, you know, whatever other issues that he might have. Why is it still that this man still has not replaced his teeth? Like, is there an actual reason why, or does that sound like that's something financial? I'm not trying to bust Dame Dash out, but we all know that he don't have it like he used to. Okay, and he hasn't had it like he used to for a long time now. So when he continues to go on these interviews, he just makes a fool of himself, you know? And literally, they laughed at him. Every time he said something, they was just like, like, oh man, you said what? Yeah, you did what? You know, oh, yeah, you just, I was just like, and the fact that he just kept getting mad and mad and mad, you know, and them laughing at it, I was just like, why do you keep continuing? Why do you do this, Dame? It is so cringy and just so awful to watch him putting himself through that unnecessarily so. I want Dame to go get some therapy. I want him to get some financial advice, and I want him to go to the dentist. That's what I want him to do. I want him to get off of the internet and take care of his business and stop making a fool of himself, because that's really what he's doing. And he just can't seem to see that everybody is laughing at him. And that's what makes me feel sorry for him. Like, they are not laughing with you. Nobody is laughing at the jokes that you were saying about this group of people in this office. Like, you are the one that they are laughing at, Dame. I hate that he's going out like this. I hate that he going out like this, because it's just, it doesn't have to happen. But Dame seems to not know. Dame seems to not know that life has moved on without him. He's still stuck in maybe 2007, 8. When did this shit happen? When they broke up? When him and Jay-Z, you know, went their separate ways and all that. When was that? Around that time? This man ain't been the same ever since. You know, afterwards, I thought that he was going to finally rise from the ashes like the phoenix, but it never happened for him, and it's just continued to go downhill. So somebody get with the boy. Get with your boy, and let him know that he's out there making a fool of himself, you guys. I can't take it. Let's move on to the next story. I'm going to give you guys a little leg. Anyway, next story, you guys. Ben & Jerry's. How many of you guys have been fans of Ben & Jerry's? You know, we know that is the ice cream company that has the very unique flavors, snickerdoodles, and they were the ones that kind of introduced, not really necessarily introduced us to these mixtures of ice cream with candy and different chocolates and nuts and caramels and all. You know, Ben & Jerry's were the ones that if you wanted a Cherry Garcia, that's where you went. All right. And I didn't even know, but this company has been around for 47 years. Ben and Jerry's, they're brothers. Ben and Jerry Greenfield, I believe, are their last names. They were brothers. They opened up this company back, I guess, 47 years ago with the thought of providing ice cream, but also sticking to their core values of equality and community support, and making sure that, they're there for the people, and fighting for LGBTQIA rights, and all of these things that company has been about. We've known about it. They have it on their mission statement has always been on their, their ice cream cartons. And we just knew that Ben and Jerry's were like the liberal company. They started up in Vermont, I believe, and that they were the liberal company that were the supporters of the communities. Okay. But of course, we know with the climate that's going on in the United States right now, it's making it increasingly difficult for people to just do their jobs and work at these places and stick to these values when you have pressure from the higher ups that are telling that you cannot say this, you cannot do this, we need to pull back on this. We know how the current administration feels about the LGBTQ community and all of that, so they feel like there's been so much pushback that Jerry, I believe it is. Let me make sure. Yes, Jerry is the one who finally said, you know what, he can't do it no more. He cannot do it any longer, and he is stepping down and he's leaving the company. I feel like we heard there was some issue with Ben and Jerry some years ago. I almost want to say that it was during YSAP's first administration, but I don't know that for a fact. But I know that I have heard in the past that there was some rumblings like they were going to get rid of the company, or somebody was stepping down. I kind of remember that, but I just don't remember exactly what the story was. So I think now he finally is just like, you know what, it's just not worth it. Like, why do I have to fight? There's a company that actually owns Ben and Jerry's, like a parent company, called Unilever. And Unilever, when they bought the company back in 2000, they bought the company in 2000, but they had told Ben and Jerry that, we don't want to change nothing. We just want you guys to still, we're going to let you cook. All right. You guys continue to do what you do. But I guess between 2000 and 2025, there's many things have changed in our world. And now that is not how Unilever is treating them. And they're pressuring them to make all these changes. And Jerry, at least, is the one that said he can't do it no more. Now, Ben is the one that is still with the company, and he is actually the person that put the statement out for Jerry, because Jerry was just like, okay, I'm out, like, goodbye, peace. Okay. But I guess Ben is trying to stick it out and figure out what they can do there. But just more of what's going on in this country. Every time you turn around, there's another company that's putting somebody down or putting them out. We can talk about the Jimmy Kimmel situation, and how they have canceled. Well, they haven't canceled his show, but it looks like that is going to happen eventually, because it's been suspended indefinitely because of the comments that he said about the man that was shot and killed the other day. So that is just another example. I mean, they did it to Stephen Colbert. They're doing it to Jimmy Kimmel. There will probably be other talk show hosts that will go through the same thing. But it's not even just on entertainment. It's almost in every level of everything that we do. We can see that this current administration, YSAP's administration, is like having their hand in everything, and is just completely sullying the waters across the board. Okay. I know one thing. This has been, I would hope, has been an eye-opener for a lot of people that have not taken this voting situation and, has taken none of that stuff seriously. I think that people are starting to realize that this shit is about to go bad real fast. Okay. Like, they are clearly cutting at liberties, cutting at civil liberties, cutting at people's rights left and right, to the point where, again, they're going to be a dictatorship. We know that that's where they're heading. That's what they want. And it's just, we just see it. It's like a shock and awe. It's like they just hitting everywhere, and people don't know what to do. It's a lot of chaos and a lot of fear. Okay. Politics makes me very anxious these days. I don't even like to speak on it And so that's why I'm not. Other than I hope that everybody votes in this midterm elections. I think we're going to have a very large record numbers. You guys know nobody votes halfway. Okay, nobody votes them 2-year midterm elections. But I have a feeling this time people will get their ass out and vote, because I think folks are now finally seeing how this could be. Just even in 4 years, this country can be totally different. I mean, there's been so much change already. So that's always going to be my feeling. Everybody needs to take this seriously. Okay? Because this country is about to not be the country that we all, was born and raised and loved. Even if you didn't necessarily love it, it's still your damn country, and you don't want the fact that somebody might put you out your country, or anyway, that's that on that, you guys. We're gonna move on, but yeah, Ben said Jerry said he out. Let's move on to the next story. Wendy Williams. They say our girl Wendy Williams. Well, they don't say that. I actually saw the pictures. Wendy Williams was at New York Fashion Week, and she was at her one of her good friends. I've seen her wear so much of Laquan Smith's fashionable designs that he's made specifically for her. I know that he probably made that beautiful fur coat that she had on that was black and white. I thought actually Wendy Williams looked very, very pretty. Okay. Just her face, her makeup, the way her hair was curled, and then her sitting there with that fur coat on. I thought she looked beautiful. But it still just breaks my heart that when I look at Wendy, I can look at her eyes, and not the fact that her eyes bulge, because her eyes have always bulged, even though it bulges more. But it's not even the fact that her eyes bulge that makes me feel like, that she's still not 100% mentally all there. It just, within the eyes, it just seems like, Wendy is still not quite already at, she's not quite at 100. What I'm saying is that you can look at her and still tell that she's not at 100. I don't think Wendy will ever be there again, but I still love the fact that they are able to take Wendy out and people get to see her, and, she at least have her wits about her enough where she can still have a conversation with the people, maybe not too long, but, I love that for Wendy. I know that she is still in that home. The judge did find that she still needs to be with a guardian. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, because as long as it seems like she's getting better care. Maybe they've met, maybe there's been some sort of, they've been able to meet get to some sort of common ground, and maybe that's all that she needed, being able to get out and still be around her family and all. Child, I got to find this fan, child. This air is just hot. I've been using the spray, the L'Oreal, the spray that you spray in the burgundy can, and that has made a difference on my makeup, because it is 4:00 in the evening right now, and my makeup is still on from this morning, so that shit works really well. It's just that I don't really like the way that it feels when I first spray it. It makes my face tingle and shit. It feels like it's burning a little bit. So, and I use a lot of actual acne medication from the doctor, prescription strength, so I'm not sure if that's a bad thing, but I'm telling you, it has totally made a difference in my makeup, child. I can see it in the camera. Oh, people are walking by. Folks are leaving. Anyway, but getting back to the story. Wendy's never going to be what she was, but it's still all respect to, Wendy is the reason why we're able to do what we do today. She literally is the blueprint of messy entertainment gossip, and, the reason why we are able to do this, so always respect to Wendy. And I thought she was gorgeous. Did you guys see the video of her sitting up there? Didn't she look nice to you guys? All right, you guys. So, we don't really have much to talk about Young Thug this week. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. But let's talk about the diss track. Now, I didn't see this coming, but I figured since Young Thug was caught on tape talking bad about Glorilla, and then Mariah the Scientist talking bad about her and all that, it wasn't a surprise that Glorilla decided to just do a quick little fast a little rap beef feud bars, whatever you want to call it, song. It was cute. She did it to the beat of looking ass nigga, you know, oh, something that nigga, something that nigga, something ass nigga, something ass nigga. But she said, oh, Netta ass nigga, Netta looking ass nigga. That's what she said, Netta looking ass nigga. I said, oh, not Netta. I know. Now, y'all know Miss Netta. Child, I'm not even going to get started on that. If you was on Instagram, y'all remember the conversation. But anyway, getting back to it. Yeah, it was cute, you know. She had a couple of cute little zingers in there and all. It is what it is, you guys. She said that it was all fun and games. You know, she wasn't really holding no grudge against Young Thug. And I said, yeah, why should she? Because look at where Glorilla is and where Young Thug is. And, you know, even Mariah the Scientist, which is a shame that she done got pulled in on this shit. You know, you talking privately with your boyfriend. Well, many of us done said some shit about some bitches that we ain't like. We just didn't think it was going to get put on the air, you know. So now Mariah the Scientist got to be over there defending and shit. And it's that, all that is just a mess. Like I said, I hope that girl is done. She probably ain't, but I hope so. But anyway, let's talk about the damn song. So I was scrolling on Instagram and Bondi had posted what was supposed to be the response from Mariah the Scientist. Okay. Now, I'm not real familiar with the girl. I know some of her songs or whatever. Or at least I think I know some of the songs. I'm like, now, is that supposed to be Mariah the Scientist or some other girl? You know, but anyway. But I don't really know what she sounds like. I just, you know, I don't know, like, the depth of her voice. So I'm listening to this damn song that Bondi had posted. I was like, oh, my God. Girl, the shit that the girl was saying in the song, I was like, is this real? Like, would she really say some of this stuff? Like, some of that shit was really gutter. Talking about old pussy stank and this and that. I mean, the things that she saying something about her being pregnant by some people. And, I mean, just a whole bunch of shit. I was like, I wasn't sure. So I'm looking at the comments and people are like, oh, this is AI. This ain't real. Okay. And I was like, oh, okay. Because ain't no way. Like somebody said in them damn comments, they was like, I don't think that God intended for these words to be sang like this. Because, child, the song was like, the girl had a beautiful voice. And that was what somebody else said. They was like, that's not Mariah because she's never had that kind of vocal skill. She can't sing like that. That girl, whoever did that, or even maybe it was AI, you know, they had them runs beautifully. It was caressing the beats and the song, y'all. It was nice. But when you listen to them words, and when she said that her pussy stank, I was like, girl, not the R&B version of the pussy stank. So, anyway, that's another person walking by, child. Anyway, yeah, that song turned out to be AI. I think that as far as we can tell, this shit has died down with Young Thug and all of the shit that was released from the jail tapes. It did the job that it was supposed to do. A lot of people ain't seeing it for Young Thug right now. Okay, so whoever did leak that stuff, they knew what they was doing. A lot of people really had problems with him and his girlfriend. And so, yeah, that's that on that, y'all. But did you hear the AI version? Go listen to it. And listen to the words, child. I was like, girl, what you said? Ooh, 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 ooh. And this song is long, too. I was like, child. But yeah, they say it's AI, y'all. It's all good. All right, you guys, I think that's it. We're going to cut it right here. Okay, we do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.